Hello, everybody. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you subscribe there, you love the mighty Aston Villa and you want us to lift the Champions League trophy this time next year. It's going to happen. You know it. I know it. Every Blues fan knows it as well, but they can't accept it. Anyway, speaking of which, glorious times at Aston Villa, it has been announced that Professor Unai Emery, Professor Unai, has agreed to sign a new 5-year contract. There we go. He will be our manager until the year 2029, should all go well. Very exciting stuff. About a month ago, Villa he signed an extension, which I think at the time, if I recall, it was said that this summer, having extended for an extra year, Villa would then discuss a new contract with him to sort of extend his stay at the Villa beyond whatever that extension was. So clearly this is it. Very quickly in the summer as well, they've got round to it. They're not dithering. They're not waiting until June, July. They're not waiting for everyone to sit around and have a few pina coladas. Instead, they've just gone, Professor Unai, here's your contract. You take it. Professor Emery's Unai-versity gets 5 more years. Just a little bit from Aston Villa. Villa themselves have said they're thrilled to announce the new 5-year contract. Obviously mentioned that Unai guided us to 4th place. And Nassef Sawiris, the chairman, also said we're building something special here at Aston Villa with Unai at its core, and we are delighted that he has signed a new deal with the club until 2029. And Unai himself said, I am very happy to take this step and the responsibility of leading this club. Since I came to Villa with Wes and Nassef, we found always the best environment and structure to develop a project with the highest ambition. Talks as well about the football structure with Monchi and Damian and the owners. They share the same vision and same goals. Now, this season you've had the likes of Mr. Goldstein on TalkSport and, various other people talking as if Unai Emery leaving Aston Villa was a surefire inevitability. If Manchester United or Bayern Munich or a club like that came knocking at the door, Professor Unai would throw it all up in the air, get rid of all his plans, tear it up and walk straight out the club. But what always assured me that I never thought that was going to happen, and I think it's the same for a lot of Villa fans, really. I think we've all been on the same boat, is that I think in the past you'd probably have been quite fearful that, maybe we'd have a great player and then one of the Manchester clubs would come looking at them, snooping around, and maybe they would go in the past. It'd be the same with a great manager if we had one of those. But it always felt that with Emery, as soon as they brought in Damian Vidagani, somebody who's known for a very, very long time, as soon as they brought in that huge coaching staff, Spanish contingent largely, plus Austin McPhee. Once they brought all of them that in, the board had clearly backed him to the hilt in a way that a lot of other clubs wouldn't do, say Chelsea with Mauricio Pochettino, hence why he left. And then on top of that, they even brought in a sporting director that he had worked with previously at Sevilla, somebody he knew very well. So Sawiris and Edens have essentially built the maximum comfort for Emery at Aston Villa to behind the scenes to work with a group of people who he knows he can trust, a group of people he knows are going to find the players he wants, people who's been there, done it with before. And I think that for Aston Villa to have that kind of stability, well, it surely has to be a good thing. To have that kind of coherence and shared ambition, it has to be a good thing. If it were all to go wrong and you need to replace all that, well, yeah, okay, that's a very expensive cost. And one day that might be something we look at and go, oh dear, that hasn't worked. Doesn't look great. But at the same time, sometimes in life you just have to back yourself, and sometimes you have to back someone. And Unai Emery has done absolutely everything in his career: 4 Europa Leagues, the semi-final with Villarreal in the Champions League, winning multiple trophies, won the French league twice at PSG, won multiple trophies, 4 Europa Leagues with clubs like Sevilla and Villarreal, regularly competing at the top of La Liga with Valencia. These are clubs that generally are a similar kind of size to Aston Villa, I guess. So it's somewhere where he's always proven himself. And ever since he came into Aston Villa for the last year and a half, Aston Villa have been on an upward trajectory. We've been absolutely brilliant to watch. Every single player has improved. And ultimately, he's got us Champions League. And there was a period of time where it always felt like Villa, anytime we'd have a good season and thought we might compete, we'd always fall away. John Gregory's 98-99 season. Martin O'Neill's couple of seasons with him as well, where in all those occasions, you get to February and you think, bloody hell, we're right up with top of the table, and then we just fall away. And that's not what happens under Unai Emery. There's a resilience at this club now, and it's magical to witness. And it's fantastic to know that that kind of security behind the scenes is there with who he's working with. And it's good to know that Unai Emery clearly believes in where this club is going and wants to be part of it. And maybe like when Guardiola found Man City, Unai Emery's found that club that he doesn't feel he needs to be at for 3 years, 2 years, 4 years. Maybe it's somewhere that he thinks, this could be a 6-7 year project, even longer than that, maybe. Kind of like what Jurgen Klopp had at Liverpool and what Guardiola's had at Man City. He is that talismanic character, that winning character that as a manager, Aston Villa have lacked for, decades. Do you want to go all the way back to Ron Saunders? You could do. We've had some top managers in that time. You'd probably look at Ron Atkinson and, Martin O'Neill was a high profile manager at the time. He did well, but ultimately, we all love Sedin as well. He did a fantastic job getting us up from the Championship, speaking of which, 5 years ago today as well, since I and many of you were at Wembley to watch us beat Derby 2-1. I was looking back at videos of it today that I recorded in the stadium after the game with all the fans going mad. And it's just, firstly, surreal to think it's 5 years because I think COVID is such a bizarre 2 years that it's kind of screwed up kind of my perception of time a little bit. So it doesn't feel like 5 years. But to think back and think John McGinn was in that game scoring a winning goal. To think Tyra Mings was in central defence, and to think those two guys now are still with Aston Villa, to think that they are such an intrinsic part of the team still, I'm sure in the dressing room and on the pitch, to think that they now have shared that experience of getting promotion kind of against the odds, given where we were, midway through that season, and then going on that amazing 10-game run and all the rest of it, the playoffs, winning that game against Derby, and then getting up into the Premier League, staying up against the odds as well. 4 games to go. What were we, 6 points behind Watford, 5 points, something like that? It didn't look like we had a prayer. And then we went and beat Arsenal, went and beat Crystal Palace, and then got that crucial draw at West Ham on the last day of the season. And then from there, it's been a bit like that, bit of a wave. Did well under Dean Smith, and then obviously in comes Steven Gerrard, an era we'd all like to forget. And then after a year of that, in comes Professor Unai Emery. To think that McGinn and Mings have been a part of all of that, it renders them club legends. And to think they've gone from the Championship to the Champions League, what I would give to see those guys not just play in the Champions League and have that theme tune play as they walk out onto the pitch, but also to win a trophy, to keep Villa competitive against top teams. And I think with Unai Emery signing this new contract, a new 5-year deal, kind of ironic that it comes on the 5-year anniversary of one of our finest hours, really, in recent times. To sign a new 5-year deal, to know that he's committed to 2029, and to know that he must have assurances from all those around him about what Villa are going to try and do with transfers. They're always going to try and back him as best as they can within PSR, I'm sure. The fact that he's got his team there, group of people he trusts, and a group of players he clearly likes working with, it's the dream job for Emery, really, isn't it? And I'm not too worried about anyone ever coming in to take him now. I'm really not. So fantastic. On we go. So yeah, thank you very much. Let me know what you think. Let me know your favourite memories of winning that playoff final, and let me know what you think about Unai Emery signing his new contract. Please remember to like and subscribe. Follow us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Remember to give us 5-star reviews on Apple and Spotify. Go on your phone, do that. Maybe write a nice review if you've got the time. And then YouTube, remember to subscribe there as well and comment down below. Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Unai. Can't wait to see what we do over the next 5 years. Up the mighty Villa.